Uncle Levy Wilson was married to my dad's sister, the only sister Dad had. And she was the youngest of the family. And Randall was her and Levy. She married Levy Wilson, and Randall was their son, and the only son they had, the only kid they had.
Okay, so Uncle DeWitt shot Levy and Randall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was a feud over the land that our great grandmother had.
They were out there logging or hunting or something?
Dad, she had deeded that 5 acres to Dad years before that, because Dad was the one that took care of Grandma most of the time for a number of years. And finally, her daughter come over and got her from Mother, and said she was going to take her and take care of her. So Dad and Mother, when they did, they knew she wasn't going to continue with this if Mother and Dad was available. So they took off and went to Houston and worked down there for a while. I don't know what Mother done. I think probably the same thing Dad did. Worked with some relation down there that had a Phoenician blind shop, working on repairing and building Phoenician blind for houses around Houston. And didn't come back till after her grandmother had passed away. And during that time, after they got back, well, Uncle DeWitt wanted to buy some land, and Dad said, I'll sell you that 5 acres. So he bought it. And he said he would not do anything with the old house that was on the property or anything on the property. He just wanted to own it, you know. Because he had bought also another 10 acres from Ben and McNaughton, which joined our property right there, joined that property. We gave him 10 acres altogether, 5 acres he bought from Ben and McNaughton. And it's 10 acres total he had. Well, after grandmother died, quite, I don't know, short time after, a period of time after, a year or 2, 3, he went in and cut the pulpwood, small pines, and cut it up a little 4 foot. They were cutting pulpwood in 4 foot joints then.
Uncle DeWitt did.
Uncle DeWitt did. He owned the land then. Dad had sold it to him. It was all legal. Well, Uncle DeWitt kept thinking that he was the one that ought to get that. And he tried to pay taxes on it. He claimed that.
Levy?
Levy. Uncle Levy did. And Dad went down there and asked him what was going on, and he's trying to pay he's paying the taxes on it or something. He said, well, that ain't their property. Yeah, I kind of got that straightened out. He was mad about it. And when Uncle DeWitt started cutting the timber off of it, him and Randall started riding the road by our house. Of course, he was right behind the house, you know. And one of them, I don't know which one, stopped them down at the main road. There was a campground road Mother and Dad lived on right at the end of it, you see. And at the Boyd Road, it was just down below, when it went down to meet the Boyd Road. Well, he had met this pulpwood hauler. This guy was hauling pulpwood from DeWitt. And I guess made threats to him or something. I don't know what took place there, but there's some conflict there somewhere. Though. He come on up there and told Uncle DeWitt about it. And Mother went over to Ivy, which lived there just, short distance from them, and told her that he was down there trying to cause trouble with a pulpwood driver, I guess. She asked Mother, Ivy asked Mother, her sister, if she would, what she would do. She said, well, I'd take Uncle DeWitt a gun. because you can't tell what they're going to do. So it wasn't long till, sure enough, they showed up and they climbed over the fence and come down through there, and Uncle DeWitt told them, asked them what they was doing. He said, we'll take care of that, or something. I don't know what all was said. And Uncle George was with them. That's Dad's another brother.
I didn't know that.
He was with them at the time, and Uncle Levy and Randall walked on down there and confronted him, and he said, leave him alone. So he grabbed a knife. Well, I understand it. I wasn't here, but I understand he grabbed a knife he had in his pocket and started making for Uncle DeWitt. When he did, he shot him. Well, he dropped, and Randall just stepped around his dad and went on after Uncle DeWitt. And Uncle DeWitt and him were so close until when he shot him, his gun was right parallel up their stomach and shot him under the chin. Killed him. So, I don't know how it come about. Well, yeah, Uncle George was over the fence, just over the fence. And he turned and run and went back over the fence. And Uncle DeWitt hollered at him and said, I'm not going to do anything to you. But he didn't stop. He hauled.
Right.
and Eloy, or was better known as George at that time, his name, Uncle George's boy, was George Eloy Boyett. And they called him, we always knew him as Eloy. But he changed his name and to George. And he took off and went to Hempfield and went to his house and hid. And they didn't know where he went for a long time. They finally found him down there, the law did. And they didn't do nothing to him. He didn't do nothing. He was just with them, you know. He didn't have no reason to do anything. That's my view of it. But it scared the daylights out of him. I think he walked all the way to Hempfield in the woods.
So George is the one that owns the land down below Uncle DeWitt and Granddad's.
Dad's comes up to the corner, you know, that corner there, and that corner, all that land in through there, and then if you're going down the road, that's something he bought later, but he aired 25 acres over there as you're going down the hill and start up the other side that join our place too, Dad's place too.
So you're talking about as you're looking at the old home place to the left,
Down on the corner, that sharp corner, that's his home,
on the left,
home place.
on the left of the road, and some on the right. You said deeded later, 25 acres.
Let me go get some paper.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I know they own the property.
okay, you're sitting on Grandpa's porch, looking
South.
down towards your place.
Right.
Right. To your right,
Was Uncle George's.
Uncle George is on the corner there.
Yeah.
Yes. And he owned all that pasture up to that road that goes down by your place.
I went past it.
Yeah, it keeps going. Yeah,
Right.
it goes all that way and it goes back this way. He owned all that land out there.
all the way up to that where that shotgun house used to be. Way down that road, or not way down, but
Without
Going-
searching too far, it's
going-
not very big, but
That's good enough.
going west.
This is
Yes. Yeah. George owns this. All of this.
no.
No. Oh, and
Dad's place come up here,
Oh, okay. I'm
And,
thinking.
come back this way.
Right.
Come at an angle, and then come down this way. Follow me?
Right.
And here's where Dad's house is.
Right. Uncle George's house
This-
is right here.
Yeah, Uncle
Right there
George's
on the
house is
corner.
right here.
Right.
Right.
And Uncle DeWitt had bought a little strip of land
Right.
right in here, 5 acres.
Right.
That's where his house was.
And his house sit over here.
Great grandma's house was over here.
Yeah, Grandma's.
So he owned that strip as well, is what you're
No,
saying?
no. There's a road. There was a road at that time. It took off down here and come up right in front of the house.
Right.
Right.
Went down through it. It now comes here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But grandma's house, great grandma's house, set
Great
right.
Grandma's house sit right down here.
Right.
Uncle George owned all of this property.
Right.
When you got on over here at this side, across the creek and going up the hill on the other side, to this going down the hill.
Right.
Oh, so past your property, he owned that side too?
Yeah.
Wow. He owned a lot of land.
Yeah, he did.
He owned 150 acres. There.
Wow.
Wow.
125 over here, and then there's 25 over here in the air.
So the reason why the feud was between George and Grandpa was because of George was there when.
This little 5 acres is set in here,
Right. Right.
and they were coming out of there with a log truck, pulpwood truck, and hauling out this way. You
Right.
see.
Right. And that's
then
where
here
they
just corners
confronted
them.
him.
Right.
That's where they confronted the pulpwood truck.
Right.
Right.
Well, Mother just walked over to Aunt Ambrose and told her about it. And she carried a gun down there to Uncle D with it. Well, she was right behind the house.
Right.
And they shot him right down there.
Right.
So it was in between my great grandma, your grandma's house, and grandma's house.
Correct. I always knew that. I knew about where it was. I don't know the exact spot, but I knew where it was.
And you own the property, or the property next to your property now is still in the George Boyett's family. Okay.
They sold it to somebody else.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
But it used to be connected to your property.
But-
or at the time.
But growing up, we were never allowed to associate with any of this family because
There's conflict.
because of the
family feud.
because of the family feud. But
See, I didn't
George
know that.
always, because he was there and he was with his cousin,
He was his brother-in-law.
his brother-in-law and his brother-in-law's son. Okay, so when he took off, this was before he had all this land, or he had
all that land there.
he had all that land then.
I don't know why they would pitch a fit about such a small piece of land.
It was 5
when
acres.
They have 150
You just had
acres.
to know the people.
My goodness.
Oh, Levy Wilson was a horse trader, I guess you'd say, that type of person.
Right.
Him and another guy, long time went from, because every town had nearly every town had a little auction of some kind in it, you know. They'd sell cattle there, farmers would. Not a lot of people had good transportation then. So they would buy, they would sit there, and before the auction started, they'd go around, these people come up there, that little trailer, cow or two in there, you know, and they'd make them, offer them some money. They were working on the farm, need to get back on the farm and work, so a good satisfied price, he'd sell it to them. And then they'd take it and run it through the auction, make a little extra money, or take it to another auction somewhere else. They might buy a bunch of cattle in the auction and take them to somewhere else. So they knew where the market was at all the time.
Right.
And they had two guys had truck and trailers, and they'd haul in cows from here to there to yonder and sell them. Get a little bit of price out of it, and he made a bunch of money that way.